Alrighty, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Friday edition of the Gareth Cliff Show, live on the Real Network, live on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. So, you have to explain to people every time.
Yeah, some people get them in strange places.
There are some people who've just, hello, Ben, sorry.
Yeah.
There's some people who've just woken up to this now. They've only just, oh, you mean I can go on the internet? I got a call from someone yesterday, and she said to me, I've got a friend and she grew up in this family, blah, 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 and she's lovely. She's got a great voice and she wants to be in radio. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help you. Like, you're living in 1997.
Yeah.
When I got into radio, it was 1997, and I was like, this is terrific. But that was 1997.
1997.
It's not like that anymore. Anyway, before I get all the comments from the usual people in the comments section, no, I didn't dress up this morning because I'm going to find prostitutes after the show. No, I didn't dress up like this because I'm going for a job interview. And no, I didn't dress up like this because I can't dress smartly the rest of the time. It's that I've got that Women's Day breakfast thing that I told you about at the beginning of the week, where I said I was going to upset those people, and then I changed my mind.
So Women's Day breakfast.
I'm making a speech. I wrote a speech. I haven't done this for a while. So normally I just wing it.
Wow, this is a treat to start the show.
I know, isn't it great? So I'm doing it. Yeah, that's right. For the women in the workplace.
Is that it? I mean, I wish James had told me. I would have, I also would have.
You would have dressed up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I would have.
What are you going to do?
I mean, I wouldn't have gone to the women's breakfast with you, but I would have dressed up.
No, but I mean, you could have sat in the back and watched.
Yeah.
It could be quite fun.
I could have laughed at the right times.
I woke up this morning almost too late. Like by a ball hair did I make it in this morning. And then I got here and saw I'd still beaten you, which made me feel good.
Yeah, I wasn't going to make breakfast, and I did make breakfast, and then it was that precarious, you got 10 minutes to get here. But look, here we are.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have to elaborate on this women's thing. Give us a sneak peek on the speech.
All right. So I'm basically talking about how things have changed in the world, how the current zeitgeist, the check your clock moment, check your watch moment is now. 2025 is going to be the watershed for the next decade of how humans behave, because we've had this 10 to maybe even more, maybe 15 years of kind of trying this way of doing things, and it hasn't really delivered the goods.
Terribly.
Right, and people all over the world are changing, and they're changing in lockstep with a pendulum swing, which happens in human society from time to time. I'm going to talk about how
they are going to hate this.
I know they are. They're going to hate it. But it's about how history is inevitable.
Yeah.
And history will, unless you pay attention to it, you study it, you know what's going on, everything seems to be terrifying and surprising to you. You cannot pattern seek. You're not a pattern-seeking mammal, and therefore you're bound to be upset by everything that occurs around you because it seems random and by chance. And it's, Virgo didn't line up with fucking Mercury this month or whatever. It's not, that's obviously not a way that we can carry on working.
Jeez, now I do want to go to this event.
And the thing about feelings and facts, and, there's quite a lot in there that they're going to disagree with.
So which brazen woman had the confidence to book you to speak?
I can't even tell you. I mean, I can look up the email, but it's apparently quite a big deal. There are like 100 people there, and they're all really important and kind of all have big, high-level jobs. And
okay,
I think
people then.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the composition of the audience may be. I might be surprised. Maybe they agree with me wholeheartedly.
Yeah, well.
Maybe they're the kind of people who have been able to already smell the change in the tea leaves.
Well, Gareth, I've always said you make a lot of sense.
Smell the wind. Smell the change in the wind.
I mean, I've always thought you make a lot of sense. That's why I'm here listening to the show this morning.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks, Ben. All right, so if Ben dressed up, would he have worn a cap? He's wearing a cap.
Guys, sorry, I'm back to caps. It's just that, I'm back to that weird look again.
Yeah.
I need to shave it back
So,
down.
have you been for the checkups and everything? They're happy?
End of August, I go for the PRP.
Okay.
So they inject
plasma-rich.
Yeah, it's. I realized this week on our show, the sports show, that I have a horrible side profile. The discoloring between the regrowth area in the hair is not great. So
it's sort of a bit pink, and then the rest is normal skin color.
It's not a good look. So what I need to do is I need to shave it very fine again.
Uh-huh.
But this is my journey, guys.
Meanwhile, have you been meanwhile been looking at potential hairstyles for when it's at full tilt?
So,
Really? What are we going to go for? What's like the most ambitious
I think I'm going to go for
hair
like
project?
I'm going to go for like 90s handsome gent first. So
Okay,
like it's
that's good.
quite long all over, and there's like a bit of a wave to it. And then
Yeah.
from there, I'm going to go more aggressive with some shaves on the side, keeping long on top.
Okay.
I think there's always going to be a bit of flop to my hair going forward,
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's going to be a while,
quite
guys.
exciting.
I mean, I think 2026 is the year that I start really styling and doing things.
Fantastic.
To this point, I'm just, white knuckling it.
Very good. If Ben dressed up, okay, then that's that dealt with. Ben, show us your cup, says Mo Rabbit. You people are sick, you're all twisted. Gavin says, gee, seeing that you're leaving us to our own devices soon, can you suggest some other decent podcasts? I'm not stopping the show. All I'm going to do is move the show to once a week. I'm very excited about this, by the way. It's going to be a really cool change to things. It became a little bit predictable, same people on the same days. It became, James sort of scrambling to get us guests at the last minute because people cancelled and they're so unreliable.
Also because he forgot.
You think he forgot? you think that's why? James, is it because you forgot? Okay. All right. Anyway, however that happened, I'm very excited about it. It means 3-hour live shows. It'll be like a morning show. And by the way, talking about that, I saw something that really is, if anything is the nail in the coffin of broadcast and traditional media, it's this. There's a big story that broke this week from The Sun in the UK. I don't know how they got the story before anyone else. But Howard Stern, who is easily the king of all radio, that's what he calls himself. This guy dominated radio in America, syndicated to, it was like over 100 channels in the mid to late 90s, and then went on to Sirius XM, Sirius being a satellite radio station, because they weren't sure the internet could do this at that point. People didn't have receivers in their car for the internet, so that the internet was kind of down the road for them. Instead, they went to the trouble of launching a whole bunch of satellites and actually installing separate satellite receivers in everyone's cars. I mean, it's just unbelievable what they managed to do. And they made money. Advertisers flocked there. Stern was able to command enormous audiences. He was being paid. I think the original contract was something like $600 or $700 million in the beginning. It was probably the most valuable entertainment contract in the world, let alone radio contract in the world. And he was probably America's number one property for a short while after that. He's made an absolute fortune in his career. He's been unbelievably innovative, completely unpredictable. He's had a team of tremendous people around him. I was on their show in, what was it, I think it must have been 97, 98, somewhere around there. And I remember it was just the most incredible thing, because I thought, here I am doing radio, which I had been doing in South Africa for a while. No, it was 2004 maybe. Couldn't have been 97. 2004. And I thought, no one is going to know who the hell I am on American radio, but it'll be the biggest audience I'll ever have. And you have to have heard Howard Stern for a while to realize how brilliant he was at that time.
Oh, completely.
But now, and I'm afraid what's happened, and I used to listen to him. People would send me files from overseas or tapes or whatever, and I used to love it. But somewhere about 12 years ago, maybe a little bit more, he just started doing celebrity interviews. All his friends became A-listers. He and Jimmy Kimmel had some kind of a bromance. He got very married and very settled down, but he was old already by then. So he was also this weird old man in his kind of late 60s and trying to be cool and trying to, making jokes about kind of vaginal queefing and things. And while that might be funny when you're 20, 30, even maybe 40 if you're pushing it,
You still
it
pop
stops.
vaginal queefing.
Well, queef is a funny thing. I mean, I got to admit.
Commonplace.
But you're really pushing it by the time you get to your 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And I also think when you have, so much changing around you, you don't change with it, which is the topic of my conversation with this breakfast
with these women.
This breakfast of women this morning. Then you just seem out of step, and you seem like you're not paying attention. You're not reading the tea leaves with the early
Yeah,
metaphor
it's like
I was
watching
trying
Happy
to find.
Gilmore too. It's like you got to get over those jokes at some
Yeah,
stage.
yeah. It does. It feels like it's just outdated and lame.
But
So anyway,
everyone's got a lifespan.
So they've killed the show, Stern's show, which is a very big deal. Really, there's the story now of SiriusXM to cancel Howard Stern after 20 years on the radio. So by that, they mean satellite radio. Before that, he had another 20 to 25 years on terrestrial radio. And I've read his books, and he really is just an inspiration to me in so many ways because he was absolutely ahead of his time almost all the way through until maybe a decade ago. $100 million a year salary. It's no longer worth the investment, is what they said. All right, so SiriusXM, it may not be that Howard Stern is no longer the best at what he does. He may still have a huge audience. I imagine there's a huge amount of nostalgia that follows him.
Sure.
There are artists from the 80s who can fill a stadium every time they go anywhere. But Howard Stern may not be the only one to blame here. SiriusXM may actually also have just been out of step with what's going on in the world. They've become very woke. They've got a couple of very bad podcasts that they produce. But I think the format's changed. So, first of all, to anyone who said that what we were doing 14 years ago or somewhere around there, and where I started to see that radio was going to die, like, hello, what more do you need in terms of proof? This is the end of radio. Radio is now virtually a nothing. It's now complete graveyard. If anyone is watching us, listening to us this morning, and thinks that there's still a job because you have a good voice or whatever, find yourself a space in reality and stop being a fantasist. It's over.
Put your good voice into a job because your good voice will be used everywhere. People think, oh, I got a good voice, I have to be in broadcasting. No, it just means you probably communicate better to a sales team. You can present better in a marketing meeting.
I have something to say for starters. That was always a rule in radio too. Is it's all good and well to have a voice, whatever that is, like a deep radio voice. Hi, everybody.
No one's an announcer anymore.
There are people like that. I mean, I was in a lift the other day and someone went, "Could you press number 13, please?" And I thought, fucking hell, that's amazing. So you still meet people like that. But there are no jobs for you because of your voice. I mean, if you think you could be a voiceover artist,
AI is pissing on that quite
get
quickly.
over it. Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, AI has been pissing on it, but there was one guy in America who did like all the movie trailers for 30 years.
And that style then died because it was him.
Right.
Use the good voice to like pick up chicks or like
But
amuse children.
more importantly, say something worth saying in a good voice.
That too.
Most people just talk bullshit. And I know small talk is something that you have to indulge in, but I'll try my best not to do that. Not on this show and not in the corridors of where you find me. All right, let's see. The only thing I enjoy about the Howard Stern show is Beetlejuice. Well, he kind of made Beetlejuice famous. Beetlejuice is that very strange-looking small black man who's very aggressive and always drunk.
Oh, wow.
He's like, there must have been fetal alcohol syndrome or something going on
yeah.
there. How can you be sure that all of the attendees are women? Are you going to assume their genders or will there be tests? Well, I have a joke about that in the beginning, so we'll see. Ben, some advice if I may, says Veronica. Massage rosemary oil onto your scalp to promote blood flow. I wouldn't take Veronica's advice. She sounds like a witch.
Yeah, Veronica.
She's a witch. Just ignore her.
You're probably right. I've been a bit slack on the vitamin E of late as well.
Sharon says Howard Stern became woke. Yeah, he did. I mean, he openly endorsed Kamala Harris and gave her the softest interview in the universe last year. Didn't help at all. With his millions of people listening, he couldn't persuade anyone to vote for her.
I also think when people become so rich and celebrity entwined, they go like that because they don't actually have real problems. That's why they seek all this bullshit.
And those people become your social equals. And they become your friends, and they become the people who you moan about being famous with. And then you lose touch with the... And I mean, what made Stern amazing was he would talk about how he had to deal with bullshit and stupid people, and he had homeless people on the show all the time, and he'd laugh about himself, and he was self-deprecating, and sure, he was crude a lot of the time. But I feel like, whatever he was and however he's changed, that train ride has come to an end now.
But celebrity's actually not entertaining when you really break it down because people have the same kind of problem with Joe Rogan right now, in that all his friends became celebrities and he became so rich. And then his conversations also kind of felt out of touch like that. Like he tries to get back to these things, but it's like it's gone now. He's lost that sort of edge.
I don't know if you've heard any of Bill Burr's latest stuff, but it's terrible. The guy's also just fallen off the edge. It happens. Can I just say that it is a very good idea for people to realize they've peaked and for them to move on. And part of that is that we constantly change things here. I'm always trying to adapt to novelty. I used to do interviews all the time, right? I think those shows are tired. I think everyone sitting around a table doing interview shows for podcasts, there's so much of it, and it's enough already. Like, there are only so many interesting people in the world, and all the podcasters have had them on at least once.
Yeah, exactly.
Including me. And I'm like, so what are we going to do next? Because I get bored long before the audience gets bored. I think it's a good survival tactic. I'm very pleased for it. I wouldn't call it a superpower, but it certainly helps.
Yeah, but you got to be honest with those things, because if you're bored, you have to be the first ones to signal that.
Damn right. And,
Yeah,
and I'm not.
You have to
I mean,
lead.
I'm not bored, and I'm certainly not doing this for any reason other than I enjoy it, and it adds value to my life.
Yeah.
And then hopefully to whoever's listening. Afrikaans radio won't die soon. They're still far behind, says Nico. Well, there are going to be places for radio in this country. I don't think it's going to die out completely. I think storytelling is always going to be a powerful thing, no matter what format it's in. And if there are really talented people in radio, they will find a way to make the medium exciting.
Yeah, but guys, I mean, we've got to look at it on a broader feel. Radio will be radio because some people still like having their fucking names on songs, shout-outs. They still like playing the stupid fucking competitions. And it's just easy for some people. And some people only want that. It's like you can't put foie gras down the throat of someone who only likes hot dogs.
Yeah.
It's also that.
That's exactly right. Tabo says, DJ Fresh and Unati started a radio show last month. Do you think it'll work? I mean, people have been dying to hear Fresh again on the radio. That's also nostalgia. And Fresh and I talked about this a long time ago, too, and he is a friend of mine, and he won't mind me saying this. But I just don't think that the format... I mean, sure, there are radio stations, the one that Darren was working on.
Well, I think Fresh is on, was it
died. 93.8? Sure, there are lots.
93.8.
There are lots of these stations. I don't know what they do radio the way radio used to be. It feels like a time warp. And I'm not going to criticize it. I just don't listen to it. So I don't know what's going on there more than on the odd occasion where I have been driving somewhere and I knew I had an interview on that station or whatever, and I'd listen to them. And they play songs, and they do things like, well, it's 6:22, and here's the that good old favorite of yours, Justin Bieber, with
Did he touch me?
whatever. Yeah. Did he interfered with me when I was small, or whatever the song is, and then they start the song and they stop talking just before the lyrics kick in, and then they play a jingle, choo choo choo. This is hard radio 9599 or whatever the fuck it is. It's just it's lame, and I say that having done it for years. I loved it while I did it. It's awesome, but I don't think it's a thing anymore. And if anyone can pull it off, it will be Fresh. I love Unati too. She's also a proper friend of mine. We get on like a house on fire. So if there are any two people who I wish luck to in that world, it would be them. They might not need it. Who knows? Maybe they kick ass and fucking take numbers. But I don't know. The format it feels out of step.
For as long as we will be a car nation with bad public transport, radio will exist. Because it's easy people to get into a car.
Yeah, but then do something people only need for that trip in or out to and from work, because the rest of it is expensive and stupid, and you don't need to be playing people music. I have the best playlist. I put this together with a friend of mine. We kind of both got access to add songs. And fuck, have we been adding some absolute killer stuff. And I don't need some DJ telling me what it's. I can see it on the screen. I don't need traffic because I got Waze. I don't need news because I've got X. So what are you doing with radio? It's not 1992.
7.
Whatever. P4 in Cape Town is still a huge station. Listeners got together last week and some soccer kids getting them back home. Oh, I heard about that. There were some soccer kids who some promoter fucked over and they were stuck, and then some people in Cape Town got them back. And you probably don't know, probably don't care. Stupid kids. Why were they in Portugal in the first place? Afrikaans radio and Huisgenoot will survive the apocalypse. Not true. I mean, Huisgenoot's sales figures are right down for the first time in history. I heard from my mother the other day that my great-grandfather started, well, he was one of the people who started Huisgenoot back in the day.
Wow.
He started 2 newspapers and Huisgenoot, which was like a for the women's.
But what kind of, because I mean, Afrikaans people are very conservative. What kind of scandal would they have put in the early issues?
This is 1920s and 30s, so I think they don't think there was scandal. I think
it was all just like recipes and doilies and shit.
Recipes and home tips. You know, the kind of videos that I watch now on
sermons and shit.
Yeah. It's like, this will help you to cut onions without bursting into tears.
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
Say no to leg warmers.
Yeah. Gareth, did you see the WNBA drama taking place over the betting markets? No, I didn't. Do you know?
I don't know. All I know is there's just green dildos getting thrown at them.
Yeah, well, it's because they wore those shirts that said "Pay us what pay us what you owe us," which is like such a cheek because the WNBA doesn't make money.
Poor copywriting. But yeah, I just been seeing the dildos. I don't know what the betting scandal is.
What's the green dildos all about?
Well, people just believe that maybe that's what they're worth. It's a bit mean. I mean, I wouldn't go to a game with a dildo and throw it in the court. But these are how people feel, you know?
Okay, Grant D'Souza suggesting something interesting. We should do a show with all your super fans. It would be a gas. First of all, I don't know if I want all those lunatics in one room. I think it would be very dangerous. But yeah, it could also be huge fun.
We should just do an event with them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And then record shit there.
Yeah, do an event with them and just record shits, and then James can bring his girlfriend.
A braai. A braai would be a good idea. Right? We can do a braai. And James, you can also bring your dog.
James has a girlfriend and a dog. I mean, he's basically the most rounded person.
The girlfriend kind of slipped in there when he said, I said to him, who? Because he's like, my dog's just arrived. And I was like, what, did you just leave it in the driveway? And he's like, no, my girlfriend brought it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, I wasn't going to make a big deal out of it because...
Me either. I mean, why would it be weird that James has a girlfriend? I think it's completely normal.
But it's also none of our fucking business.
I know. That's why I want to. That's why I want to get into it.
That's why you want to pry. There was something about. Oh yes, James is going to start an Instagram page for his dog. It's going to be called what? Winstagram.
Winstagram, and it's going to promote the links to all the podcasts on the Real Network.
Winstagram, yeah. It's just going to basically be a promotion dog.
Exactly.
That's what it is. All right, I haven't listened to live radio since the start of COVID, says Chantel. Yeah, a lot of people changed a lot after COVID, and some people didn't and thought it would be the same. And those are the people that you don't need. I saw a dude with a mask on yesterday in his car. Huh?
You see the Pirates announced a sponsorship with Amstel, and the Urban Causa, he had the mask on outside.
Well, a lot of people might want to kill him, so perhaps he knows something we don't.
It was outside. He gave the whole spiel with this fucking mask on. It was so
That's
cringe.
Weird. I mean, you'd think he's a smart guy. He's made a ton of money. He kind of owns the criminal underworld, if not just Orlando Pirates. That's good enough.
Seeing that reminded me of
why
all
would
that
he wear a
nonsense
mask?
again.
It's so dumb, right? It's
Outside.
To me, it is an outside sign of stupidity. I mean, if you're still wearing a mask now, I've got to ask, what happened? Did you get hit on the head really hard?
Maybe he cut himself shaving. Maybe I'm being a bit hasty here.
Maybe. All right, so a couple of things we need to get to this morning. Beyonce versus Sydney Sweeney. Who wore it better? This is your thing you want to settle.
Oh, Gareth, I have no talking points. I'm just here to shoot the shit.
Cool, but I do want to get into this.
This isn't like fucking show and tell. Right, Ben, let's talk about your points today.
No, but I like the topic. I mean, who doesn't want to talk about Sydney Sweeney at the moment? She's terrific. And, you know, the people who are upset with her, this is a very straightforward thing. People who are upset with her just mostly ugly people.
Yeah.
There may be one or two of them
there's lots of those, yeah.
Who've had to dig. Yeah, there are. It's disappointing, you know. Like, you just can't take pleasure in other people being pretty and hot.
But I mean, generally leftists hate anything that's beautiful, successful, or at all makes them look like shit, which isn't hard. So they hate a lot.
Yeah, so they hate beautiful buildings. They hate beautiful artwork. That's why they're always throwing soup and spray painting with their climate change bullshit. They hate everything that's beautiful. because they hate themselves. That's the truth.
Of course.
But
Obvious.
it's interesting, like, there are a couple of people who are complaining about how Sydney Sweeney is a terrible ambassador for beauty because they don't feel included. But then you take Beyonce, and I think this is a fascinating subject because Beyonce came up in conversation with a couple of people I was with the other day, and people were saying, well, why is Beyonce, lightening her skin, wearing a blonde wig, going for the cowboy look? She famously wore all jeans for the launch of her country album recently. It's not as if Beyonce is appearing as authentic as possible. She's also vamped up her image to the nth degree. I don't know. She's a beautiful woman, so I don't know if she needed plastic surgery or anything. But certainly a lot of women have that. So either you're all for authenticity and you want people to be as real as possible, or you don't mind the fake and you can still assume that there's beauty involved. I don't know which is, to me, a problem. Something says to me neither of those is a problem. If you are beautiful, be celebrated. And if you can make yourself more beautiful from not being beautiful and you think it's better and it gives you confidence, awesome too.
Yeah, I just think people should be honest and just basically say, I dislike white women. That's what they need to say.
Is that what you think it is?
Because that's what it comes down to, right? And it's just
there's a lot of white women complaining about Sydney Sweeney.
Because they're trying to condition themselves to be, white women aren't pretty. It's been like,
but why would you do that if you're a white woman? That
because they hate themselves.
That's so counterproductive.
Look, it's hard for us to have this conversation because we're two white guys in the set right now. But
we're the perfect people to have this conversation, if you ask me.
But I think online, people just need to be honest. Like, I think white women become soft targets for this kind of stuff. Sydney Sweeney is the most harmless, naturally attractive blonde girl who just happens to have amazing boobs.
Although I did see
that should not be held against her.
No, that should be held against me.
Yeah.
I did see a great video the other day.
I set you up for that one.
Thanks. I did see a great video the other day of her shooting a gun. She went to some shooting range and she went up 10 sexy points. And the funny thing is, I think my algorithm is rewarding me finally after years of putting in hard yards with boring chemistry videos and shit. Because I got a video of my Norwegian pole vaulter.
She illegal age yet?
She's legal now, Ben. She's grown up, all right? She was shooting a gun at a shooting range, and I thought, how marvelous. This is just exactly what... The world is changing for the better.
And you know what? It's a normal, fun thing to want to do, but then it becomes alt-right if you shoot guns and you got blonde hair.
No. I don't believe any of that.
Obviously we don't, but this is what people get. But if you look at the pictures of Beyonce and Sydney Sweeney in these campaigns, it's basically the same thing, right?
Sure.
Beyonce looks great.
She does look fucking great. Look at her. Talk about, good body. I mean, Beyonce looks spectacular there.
I mean, she's had, obviously, everyone has work done, right?
But I got to tell you at the same time, sure, work done, but to me, the skin tone is exactly the same on both of them. In fact, you could say they've maybe bronzed up Sydney Sweeney's cleavage a little more, but they both...
They would need to, yeah.
I don't really think there's a whole lot of difference, except we know that Beyonce is quite a bit older, which is to her credit to look
great.
that good.
And the Levi ads, and she strips down to basically, she takes off the denim, she puts it in the washing machine. She's in good nick. She's a beautiful woman.
Damn right.
So if people want to talk about this whole, that's not beauty, I'm sorry, but that is. And why do you think
they've got more in common in those two pictures than they have that makes them different?
Completely, but why do you think people are liking these ads? Because they actually want to see hot chicks.
Also, we're
so tired of these hobgoblins who've just been, everyone's beautiful. They're fucking not. Don't try fucking voice this on us.
I still send them to you on Instagram.
And I hate you for it. It upsets me so much.
I send Ben the ugliest people with doing the most horrible things that I can find. And I get no reply. And I know it's hit home. It's just so great.
There I am with my head in my hands, crying.
I know.
No one to see that.
Terrific.
And this beauty standards and all this kind of stuff. And they say, well, beauty shouldn't be exclusive. Yes, it should be. And we should celebrate people who are beautiful.
By the way, I could talk about this all day. It's one of my favorite subjects. It came up last weekend too. There is something so great about someone who's just naturally goddamned attractive, just strutting their stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily watching from somewhere going, that's revolting. I just have an appreciation for beautiful shit. I really do.
As we all actually do. But we need to
Well,
be honest
if you're
about this.
if you're a good, I think you think you have to, in some way, and in some way, you have to associate beauty with divinity.
Correct.
It's a moral good, right? Because when things are beautiful, they're ordered, they are symmetrical, they are proportional. It all makes sense. The ancient Greeks had worked out the golden rectangle. There are elements of proportion that come into all of that. And I think good equals beauty.
Yeah.
If you're disordered and you're chaotic and everything in your life is bizarre and random and you can't make head or tail of it and you're constantly surprised by everything, like our president, then I don't think you have an eye for beauty. There are some people who the paintings in there. That's so great, Sloth Fratelli. All right, sorry for those people who are listening rather than watching, because we still have some of those. There's an American Eagle, Sloth Fratelli has extra jeans ad with him in a Superman shirt.
I just like, you know what, well done, American
Yeah,
Eagle.
that's so great.
Like they've got
So
it's such a great campaign, and I would go buy their jeans if I saw them in the store opposed to others, because they've done something good. They've gone back to what people like. We want to see hot chicks. We want to see beauty. We want to see things that are
speaking
better.
of beautiful, have you got that woman who's shouting at the camera? Yeah, show Ben this. She's gorgeous. And I mean, I agree with everything she says, by the way. Everything this woman is about to say, I think, is spot on. It's just unfortunate where it comes from, but here we are.
Fucking government? The English don't protest about England here. The Asians don't protest about China or Japan here. Do they? But the Palestinians, they come here, they're bringing their shit here, and they're protesting about their fucking country. Here, we gotta have problems. Fucking idiots.
And I back her all the way.
I back her all the way, you see?
I back her enthusiasm, her passion, her subject matter.
Sure, absolutely. Someone put a clip together. I'm just going over some content that I was most impressed with this week. And this is the greatest video. It's from Diary of a Wimpy Kid or something, where there's an audition for a musical at the school. All the kids are shit singers, and then he's the great singer. And someone has gone and taken this video, which is apparently like a meme that's gone all over the internet, and they've put in the Springboks and the Braai Army, South African rugby supporters. And just as we lead into sport, I thought this would be a good and a tremendously clever way of explaining to anyone who's never been to South Africa or knows nothing about the country, this is what South Africa is in a nutshell. All of our parastatals are an absolute shit show. And our government is a shit show. And that doesn't mean the country is or the people are. And there are still bright lights and there are pockets of excellence that we will find in South Africa that will save us. And this illustrates it better than I could in words.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely when you're never coming round. Turn around.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired. Listen to the sound of my tears.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous
That the best of all the years have gone by.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, and then I see the look in your eyes.
Turn around, bite eyes. Every now and then I fall apart.
And I need you now tonight. And I need you more than ever. And if you only hold me tight, we'll be holding on forever.
That is
Spot on,
amazing.
right?
That's our life,
Yeah,
guys.
That's it. All right, so let's get into some sport with Ben Karpinski.
Well, guys, football's back. It was back.
You did a big launch show this week on the bounce.
On the bounce. So if you're actually looking for podcast midweek because you're
Yeah,
not getting
exactly.
midweek, on the bounce show, we had a really great football guest, Sapang Malwani. He's from Soccer Laduma. So we had our first journalist, and this is a guy who goes to all the events. He interviews the people, and he has to physically write the stuff. So great knowledge base.
Sure.
And we went through all the leagues because the MTN 8 started last weekend. Straight away, we went to the cut and thrust of that because Sundowns are now playing Pirates in the semis. That'll be next weekend. But this weekend the PSL starts. Next weekend the English Premier League starts. So all the leagues are now going to be really kicking off. So for people who really love football, there was no off season because there was the FIFA Club World Cup. And then with all the transfer talk and who's buying what and who, it doesn't really turn off. But now it very much turns on. So obviously with the PSL, I don't want to give away what we did in our show, but it's always back to like, can the PSL be competitive again? Sundowns just get stronger and stronger and stronger. And unfortunately, after being in the Club World Cup, their players are only going to be better. They've got extra money because they get a little bit of money.
So you think they're accelerating so fast ahead of the others that the others can't catch up?
It's so near impossible for the others. Like the others can't put a foot wrong in anything that they might be able to do. Whereas Sundowns just have gears and levers and layers. It's really great. Like it's great to know that we can produce a team like Sundowns, but who can keep pace with them? And every season it's like, well, what could be the answer to that? And the actual pessimistic view is like nobody could ever catch them. They're going to be inevitably great forever. But that's a really cool incentive for other teams to now rise to the top with that. So this weekend, PSL will start. We've got Chipper versus Sundowns. So that'll be the first match on Saturday. And then we've got the new teams that are coming up. So Orbit College FC.
Who the fuck are they?
Exactly. Well, I think they'll only be around for one season. That'll be also
Isn't that
3 o'clock.
Flex's favorite team?
I think that's
I
Flex's
heard
favorite.
that's who he supports.
That's
Who
his
is
favorite
it?
chewing gum.
Orbit what?
Orbit College FC.
There we go. Is that your team, Flex?
Flex actually physically went there, so he can go and play there sometime in the season. They might
So I
need
mean, he
him.
could even be their striker by the end of the year.
They might need him in a few weeks. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, well there we go.
So Orbit College FC in Amazulu, that'll be at 3. Pirates take on Sekakuni.
What time you finish here in the afternoons, Flex? Like 2, 3? Then you could probably make it to practice.
You get more. You might get some more merch as well, Flex.
And I reckon you could seriously add some fucking power to their lineup.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's promote actively. Start the hashtag Flex4College.
Orbit College FC.
Just make it Flex College. That's too complicated
Yeah,
otherwise.
actually, go for renaming.
Yeah.
Because renaming is very fashionable in the PSL because you have teams who buy other teams' rights.
That's right.
And then they come in.
At one stage, we had the Imalahleni Warriors of Coal or something, didn't we? I think we did.
I don't know.
We did. We had that. I remember.
So Siwelela FC is a team that bought Supersport United.
What's Dimela?
Siwelela FC.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is Gate Mackenzie's son. This is the Free State team.
Okay.
So they bought Supersport United last year. They were
Right.
going to become Bloem Celtic. The guy who owns the rights to Bloem Celtic said, I want, like, I don't know, 15 million rand for the name. And they were like, well, we're going to kind of just create our own name.
But aren't Ivan Koza, Kaiser Motaung, Natasha Chiklis, aren't they all still in charge of fucking soccer? I think they are deep down inside.
Of course they are.
Right?
Yeah. But that's their teams. They've got their
Okay.
own things. Siwelela FC is now going to be the heart of Bloemfontein because Bloem Celtic, they sold their license a while ago and then they disappeared and there was no football in Bloem, which, it's the worst run province in the country.
Yes.
At least give these people
No,
football.
Eastern Cape is, and
No, it's
we'll
actually
address
Free
that in
State.
the last hour.
Actually, the Free State.
You think the Free State's worse?
No, there's been articles about that.
Okay.
They are the worst
Take
run.
your word for it.
So Siwelela FC are going to now play, and looks like they'll hold on to Siwelela FC. They're not going to bother getting the Bloem Celtic name. It might come back at some stage, but they're good with this. They're taking on Golden Arrows at 8. And then the game of Saturday is Pirates versus Sekakune. And then Sunday, TX Galaxy, who I'm pretty sure will have a derby with Orbit College FC, just on names. TS Galaxy are taking on Durban City. Durban City have now come up from the first division. So Gavin Hunt's involved there. They're looking to stay with some pretty decent names there. And then Stellenbosch against Chiefs on Sunday, also big game. But then on the English front, the FA Community Shield is the game before the actual EPL starts.
Yeah.
So the league winners, Liverpool, take on the FA Cup winners, Crystal Palace. It's a big day at Wembley. It's a lovely last day in the sun because, as you know, summer basically ends.
Summer died last week in the UK.
Well, the Community Shield is the last day of sunny football. Then it goes back to rain, sleet, clouds, and general shit. So that's pretty much how it starts with the football this weekend. Next week will be bigger and better and everything because the leagues all kind of start.
Sure.
Rugby also, next week is the big week because now the Boks are back. It's Rugby Championship. So right now we still got Curry Cup. Curry Cup's great, especially if you support the Bulls. They literally trampled the shit out of the Sharks last week. I don't even know what the score was, actually. I think it was like 60-0 or something stupid. Friday, the Griquas on their car park in Kimberley are hosting Western Province. That'll be at 3 o'clock. Grass burns aplenty. Saturday, Bulls versus the Pumas. Now, this will be your last chance to go to Loftus until the beginning of September.
Shit. All right.
So get in there. Bulls Pumas 3. The game of the weekend is Sharks versus the Cheetahs. Now, that's historically a big game because the Sharks always take the Cheetahs players. So that'll be at 5. And then Sunday, Boland, which is
You can just
basically
stop there. Nobody cares.
Boland versus the Lions
Yeah.
in Wellington.
Nobody
3.
cares.
But yeah, Gareth,
10 people at that one.
pretty quiet, all hammered on box one. Bit of a quiet sporting weekend. Big time with the golf because the PGA Tour sort of finishes with a massive climax on the FedEx Cup. So it's the FedEx St. Jude Classic this weekend. Top 70 on tour qualify for that, which then gets whittled down to the top 50 next week. So this is where the big money comes in.
It's always great when there's a climax on top of a cup.
Massive climax. Yeah, huge one. That'll be the Tour Championship. That's the actual climax.
Sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
builds into that.
fantastic.
And then Live Golf Chicago is one of the last events running up into their end of season as well.
Right.
And of course, Live Golf March next year is at Stay in City here in South
Here
Africa.
in South Africa. This is very exciting.
2 weeks' time, I'm doing a full show about that. We've got Chris
Superb.
Bentley from Live Golf coming in.
Great.
OJ Malef is going to join us as well. He's been to 3 of the events. Like, as I said this week, basically this starts now, the biggest football season we have because it goes and ends off at the FIFA World Cup in America, Mexico, Canada, whatever. So we've got nothing but football now until deep into next year. It's so
Excellent.
damn exciting. But yeah, next week we've also got Drickus fighting Kamzat Chimaev, UFC 319 in Chicago, Rugby Championship. I'm sure there's some other sports involved as well. But yeah, this is it. We've had a bit of a lull. Now we're going full steam ahead.
Yonder says Sundowns is not getting stronger. They just buy all the good players and thus create a monopoly. It's boring and that's bad for South African soccer. You agree?
Well, I disagree. They are getting stronger. And whether they do that by buying monopolies or whatever, that's unfortunately in football.
You and Yonder, fight. Let's
Yonder,
fight.
that's life, unfortunately. You need to become rich. And if you're not rich, then be hot, like Sydney Sweeney.
That's right.
also
Lots of
that.
comments about Sydney Sweeney and Beyonce being attractive. We'll make sure that we, at least every show, we have some beautiful woman to show you in a picture or to have in the studio. I think
Exactly.
it's a good idea.
But I just
it improves everyone's
Yeah.
state of mind. You know, we read that very important survey not so long ago about how when men see breasts, they immediately feel happier.
Immediately.
And I think, girls, you got to tell us what it is that you want to see, and within reason. I mean, we're not going to be displaying penises. You
Yeah,
know?
sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
No, I disagree. All right, that little cleft-lip goblin will be manhandled. Who's that? Says Bitcoin Butt.
That comes at Chimaev. His face does look
Oh,
irregular.
right. Okay, so he's a
Yeah, guys,
cleft-lip
Drickus is going to
goblin.
win.
All
I'll
right.
get into this next week. Why? But let's stop fucking around with this. He's the underdog bullshit. He's cool. That motivates him more, but he's not the underdog. He's going to win.
Mapello says, I really respect Ben for starting with local football. James opens up with European football, mentions F1, and closes with local football. I just don't get
I can't even mention F1 right now because I'm just bored.
Yeah.
Just so bored. It's just McLaren 1-2, McLaren 1-2.
I got my ticket for Live Golf, says Signet.
Nice.
So that's
and
already
you'll have a
happening.
fantastic time with that as well.
Yeah. Okay, a couple of other things that we've got to do before we get to 7 o'clock. Apparently, Cyril Ramaphosa did call President Donald Trump to discuss looming 30% tariffs. They're not looming, they're already kicking in on South African exports. Again, he's woken up late, but let's see, maybe this call. Hello? Hi, is that Donald? This is Cyril. Hang on, I've just been disconnected. Oh, my phone. What happened? Something like that. I don't know how it went, but apparently these tariffs could cost South Africa 30,000 jobs. Now, we actually spoke to this story on Monday. Leanne told us about Jendamark, a company in the Eastern Cape, and we'll be talking to the director of operations there, because they're not going out of business. They're absolutely not shutting down, and he's going to tell us about that. And I'm pleased because they actually got hold of us and said, "Hey, you're talking shit. We are very much still in business, but this is a thing that all businesses who are exporting, and particularly businesses exporting to America, are very concerned about, is these tariffs."
Yeah.
So apparently the two leaders agreed to continue trade talks with the negotiating team set to pursue detailed discussions. I don't know who's talking on behalf of South Africa at these discussions, because the Americans have got a great team of really, really smart people. I wonder who we're sending. Because if we're sending like most of the ANC and DA members of cabinet, I'm very concerned.
Me too.
I don't think there's anybody heavyweight enough to be able to.
Well, we know that Diaz got heavyweight.
Well, I'm not talking about how fat they are, Ben. I'm talking about that they have an understanding of international trade and economics. And I
Also
would think,
able to negotiate some massive
yeah, and
thing.
being able to negotiate. I mean, these are not people who can even negotiate with each other in our government. So I do worry about this. But let's hold thumbs, right? Let's be hopeful. Key sectors affected include agriculture, automotive, and textiles, and some exports like copper and pharmaceuticals, which are exempt. So we want very low tariffs for South Africans selling and South African companies selling goods to America. And we want America to sell us stuff at low tariffs as well. So the lower they can get both sides of this, the better.
But that's it. And no one talks about this. There's two sides to this. We've been putting heavy tariffs on them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, this is not something that I want to trouble myself with in my fluffy life, but we also have to have like the general tariff talk. Why do we put tariffs on other people?
Well, you see, America is also using the tariffs as a weapon to kind of cudgel the ANC into behaving themselves and getting some very basic things right.
Not being commies.
Not being stupid commies. And I understand that. You've got to use whatever tools are at your disposal to try and get your trade partners to behave themselves. And this is upsetting the ANC no end. I did see, I don't know whether this is true or not, so please don't quote me on it, but I saw a story pop up yesterday in my feed. And I tried to source it, but I had no luck in establishing where it came from. That Fikile Mbalula said in a speech, apparently, that he's instructed all ANC members that they are not to sing or perform or promote Kill the Boer. Now, I don't know. It would be an enormous statement of perfectly sensible middle ground for him to do this. And if he has said it, I give him full credit. I would love to give Fikile Mbalula credit for something. It's been a while since I've been able to. But if it's true that he said that, that is a perfectly sensible place for anyone to be. Rather not singing about killing people is always better than singing about killing people. And I don't see how this is controversial. Certainly in the ANC,
Exactly.
EFF should
How
follow
is this
suit.
still a
Like, just stop
conversation?
it, guys. Just
Yeah.
stop. Stop being dicks. That's all.
That's actually what it comes down to. It's just being dicks. So
Yeah.
we'll get into the second hour, but obviously there's podcasts now that are getting sued for saying things.
Yeah, apparently Gayton is suing some podcast about saying things about coloureds.
Yeah, they're crazy. But just going back to this whole thing, the Kill the Boer thing, you're just being a piece of
Thank
shit.
God it's not us. I was, for a minute there, I thought, oh God, it's Marvin, because he's always going on about coloureds, even though he is one.
Guys, we would get sued by everyone if
Jesus.
there was a microphone. The point I'm making is,
Whew, you've just made my day, Ben. I really thought it was Marvin.
but the point I'm making is
I'm
like,
so relieved. Aren't you guys relieved? Because he does say a lot of things about coloured people, and I thought, oh shit, Gayton's going to come after us.
we need to get into this at length, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
But
look,
you were going for your gun for a second there, Ben.
no, it makes me angry with this whole like the Kill the Boer thing. We need to bring it down to what it is.
Just
You're
stop
just
it.
being a dick. Stop
Yeah.
it. Like it's not like a banger track. Like it's not like us suddenly banning Psy's Gangnam Style. You can never sing that again. That's a banger, right? We'll keep it. Kill the Boer is not a great song. It's just shit words by people being shit. Let's just leave it alone.
I wanted to ask you about this. I had Stefano Vigoriti on Wednesday, and he's been very involved in water polo in South Africa. And,
Why?
and I don't. He loves it. He used to play water polo,
Okay.
and he's got lots of friends who are they're involved in it. They have kids who are doing water polo or they coaching it or
Very
whatever.
popular summer school sport.
Yeah, and that's what he told me, is that summer school sport in this country with water polo is actually tremendously successful. We produce tons of really good talent.
And it's the only summer jock sport because you
Yeah.
you can't be a jock and play cricket or whatever else is
Right.
good. So
a
if
bit
you
lame.
if you want to be a jock the whole year round, you have to play water polo in summer.
Well, he also brought up that our women's water polo team is quite good.
Also,
He
because
said they're terrific.
a lot
They're
of the private
competitive.
schools that
Yeah.
love it. Yeah,
So, the reason I bring him up is because endurance-based holidays like Croatia's Ultra Swim 33.3. I don't know what that is, but I'm reliably informed that it is growing in popularity.
guessing you swim 33.3 kilometers.
Okay, so this is it. And travelers are choosing transformation over relaxation, pushing themselves through ultramarathons, long-distance swims, and extreme treks. And you and I have been talking about how tourism...
Terrible news for the booze industry.
It's very bad for them, but very good for people's overall health, right? And you and I have talked about this, and we've even spoken about it in the window seat a couple of times, is that sport tourism, whether to go and watch sport, your favorite sports team competing in some big match, or go and watch a tournament somewhere, or have that one-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see something like Wimbledon or the Masters or whatever. And then you get people who want to go and do the Tour de France, or they want to do a marathon.
Gareth,
or
I've been
they-
doing some research
Phenomenal.
on this. It is such a growing industry. It's
Yeah.
massive. It's becoming a huge player. Like it's actually changing so many parts of travel now about how people save up and do things.
Have you ever been unfortunate enough to fly to Cape Town on the weekend of the Argus, for example? It's a nightmare.
Yeah, you don't do it.
You don't do it. Even the marathons that happen, the comrades. I mean, if you've got to fly to Durban that weekend, don't do it. Just don't. Stay at home. Cancel your plans. Because all these people are, they take over the planes, the airport, the other side when you're trying to get Ubers or taxis or
Yeah.
whatever. It's impossible.
Sweaty seats everywhere.
Yeah, people wearing
But it's a
terrible outfits.
It's a massive thing, and it's such a unique thing. I think the first time I saw this was when I went to the FIFA World Cup in Brazil. That was the
Yeah.
first major world event that I went to. Actually, wait, I went to the Rugby World Cup in New Zealand in 2011, but that was New Zealand. It's very ugly. But when you get into like Brazil, there was a different vibe and feeling about it because people from around the world were doing something so special together.
Yeah.
And sure, you can go to Rio anytime and it's phenomenal, but to do it in that sort of sense, it's just like your senses are completely overwhelmed for how amazing this is. Because as humans doing fucking cool things.
Yeah. I think that sports tourism is going to become one of the biggest categories if it isn't already. For tourism, if you just think about the corporate incentive trips that people want as rewards for people inside of businesses who've done extraordinary things, you know, more than hit their targets, delivered fucking fantastic results. They pop those people on a plane and send them to some major international sports event. They have the weekend of their lives.
A huge amount of social currency put into that now. It's like the biggest flex. I don't know if it's just because the people I follow.
Flex is the biggest flex.
Orbit
He's-
FC
yeah.
striker. I don't know
Yes.
if it's because of my algorithm of people I follow, but I don't see as much people flexing with cars anymore. I don't see those kind of things that would have been maybe pre-COVID huge. But fuck, put someone overseas and they are very happy to put the pictures out. They're having so much fun.
Oh, definitely.
People engage with the posts.
Yeah.
It's
much
such a
bigger
cool
deal.
thing to be able to do. Like it was so cool when, so my co-host obviously on the show, Sandila went to Ibiza recently. Okay, the biggest draw. Like I love seeing my friends being in those places. Like it's my happiest post on
Can you
Instagram.
imagine Sandila and how hammered he was and how out of control he was in Ibiza?
He went deep in Ibiza here. He did the country proud, put it that way.
Oh yeah,
If
for sure.
he went there as a player from the country, podium finish.
Okay. Then there's this stuff which we also need to talk about. A trophy hunter, this is a kind of sport, who was killed by a buffalo in Limpopo. And people are joking about this. I saw people with the picture of the hunter crossed out and the buffalo looking very proud of itself. This happens in hunting. It's occasionally it doesn't go the hunter's way. That's part of the reason people do it. There's an element of risk attached.
Yeah, look, trophy hunting is a very triggering topic.
Yeah.
We must always start the conversation by saying this brings money into our economy. This brings money into conservation, and this brings money into the greater mix of what we're talking about here. But at the same time, we like sport in this world, right? And no disrespect to this man or his family or anybody who loves him, but there has to be fair game. And sometimes the hunter dies.
Yes, that's right.
I don't want to see people die. Maybe he's left a family behind. But if you look at the story in isolation, it's one for the buffalo, you know?
It is, and sometimes the animals do win, and we love those stories.
They should sometimes.
Some, every year there's been a couple of stories of animals winning, and it makes me happy. I do like it when they win.
It's our primal nature. We can't fight it.
Sure. There's something in us that still wants the Colosseum and lions and tigers and humans being torn to pieces by the lions and tigers. And sometimes you want the human to win against the lions and the tigers.
Oh, everyone loves an underdog story or an under buffalo story.
Under buffalo.
And
so he got trampled to death? Head-butted?
So he was with an experienced hunter and tracker. Because, I mean, how these things work is it's very well run, right? You get your tracker, and then you get your hunter, and they can guide you through the land because they know it. And then it's up to you and your gun and your ability to do that. And they make it very safe. But a buffalo is a very difficult animal. If you're a human walking around in the wild, you shoot yourself for hippos and buffaloes. Those are the two worst.
And also they just come out of nowhere sometimes.
And
you'll go around a bush, one standing right in front of you. You are either you have to pull your gun up and shoot and just hit the right spot in the fucking brain. And you remember you got those huge horns. Hit that, there's no use.
It's really important.
Hit it in the heart otherwise.
You hit at certain places. Yeah.
If it goes down, you've got to make sure it stays down, because if it gets up again, it's going to be furious, and it will use whatever energy it's got left, whatever life it's got left, to trample you to pieces and to knock you senseless.
They're very, very angry animals. They're very strong, big animals, and they've got motherfucking huge horns. So, they would basically make contact, and then they would trample you.
Let's just do a quick vote. Are you happy about the buffalo winning, or would you have preferred the human winning? Ben, you'd say buffalo?
Yeah, because the human always wins because they got the unfair advantage of being determined about what they're about to do, is premeditated, and they got amazing guns. The buffalo's just out there eating and shitting.
Yeah, doing its normal stuff.
No one said, "Oi, 3 o'clock, you're fighting this guy."
So all right. So the buffalo, one vote. Flex, vote. Also buffalo. James. Okay, 3 buffalo. I'm going to go with buffalo 4-0.
So basically, you've asked guys who are in relationships and not in relationships, and
that's right. We've done a very fair sample.
Very fair sample.
I'd like to know if there's anyone in the audience who is very upset about this. Maybe a member of the family of the hunter.
But then it's a personal question, and they can't be involved, unfortunately.
Well, yes. Okay, so you've lost your father or brother or whoever, but we're also going to exclude you from this poll.
So now I want to take it further.
Too bad.
I want to take it further. I want to take it further and say no one can hunt this buffalo from here on in.
This buffalo should be left. It should be given its life to die of old age.
Much like the gladiators when they win in the Colosseum, they get freedom.
Correct.
This buffalo should be allowed to.
And should we maybe throw flower petals in front of it for at least the next 2 weeks?
Build up a legend, yeah. And then, so what this buffalo can now do is sire other buffaloes who may be in the trophy hunting pool.
And then maybe they will say, well, my father won the struggle, so I deserve free grazing, you know?
Yeah, I see.
There's
There's
the
danger,
kind of entitlement that could come to the children.
There's also that, yeah.
We've got to watch out for that. Put a poll in the chat, James. That's a good idea.
I think the buffalo is actually called Black Death.
Oh, it's called Black Death?
I think it was a name that they had even prior to this.
Really?
Yeah.
So this buffalo had some rep, some riz, as the kids would say, going into this.
There's no doubt that the buffalo has been injured, but I think it should go to retirement.
Yeah, give it a huge big paddock, several miles wide and several miles deep.
You know, like when someone becomes a world champion before a Springbok match, they got like the title or whatever the fuck. Get this buffalo out on next week.
And in truly rich countries or truly corrupt countries, they also give them a house or whatever.
Give the buffalo a house and like a blue light brigade.
Yeah.
But like, let's get this buffalo on Ellis Park next week before the Box Australia.
What a great idea. And if it takes out someone, too bad. That's what it's famous for.
I think the
Just
Australians...
make sure that those dancing girls that they have on before the game, make sure they're out of the way. Can't afford to lose those.
We'll have the fucking jacked impies, the wallabies, this buffalo in the field.
Here we go. We've got a poll in the chat.
Let's not kid ourselves. We are these people.
Listen, so far, with just a meager 32 votes coming in, 69% of people, 70% of people are in favor of the buffalo. So buffalo is well in the lead.
I
at this
reckon
point.
it'll also promote travel to the country because now everyone thinks, well, it's not that safe. It's like you can go trophy at all these safe places.
No, I think this
If
is
you tell someone I killed in South Africa, it's like, wow.
and this
that's
is
a
like
thing.
seeing an assassin, right? You don't have to hear about Lee Harvey Oswald dying. You could see Lee Harvey Oswald just grazing in the bush. Great idea. You could have special tours.
Send him to one of Cyril's farms. Those animals get treated nicely.
Yeah, I mean, Cyril can't. He doesn't know what to do with a gun. I think that's a great place for him to go. There we go. Texas millionaire killed by Black Death buffalo in South African hunting. I'm sorry, dude, but that is a magnificent. Look at those horns.
Look, that's probably not the actual
magnificent
buffalo. That's
specimen.
just a reference image.
Well, if that is him, then he is deserving. You know what he wants, right? He just wants peace, tranquility, and lots of mating. That's what he wants.
I think we line up Black Death with some weekend specials
Damn right.
and
What a
get
good
him at the
idea.
Bok match next week.
Cyril will use this buffalo as a negotiating tactic against Trump tariffs, says Bitcoin Bot. Maybe. Imagine the drunks, taking on the buffalo before the match starts at Loftus, Chris says. It's
Like
worth
I said,
considering.
guys, we are these people. Let's not fight it.
All right, we've got to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got lots more to talk about and plenty of excitement on the way. Don't forget, next week, the last week of 3 shows, and we go to 1 show a week from the following Friday. So get ready for that. Going to be very exciting, though. It's going to be a 3-hour show live, all the people popping in, things going on, lots of excitement. And, of course, we'll be heading towards spring very soon. So that's
Yes.
another reason to be excited.
Well, after your birthday, basically, it's spring.
yeah,
Your birthday is like the end of winter,
that's right.
which you love.
Fucking
It's
love
also
it.
great. Yeah.
Love the end of winter, don't love my birthday. But let's get over it.
I really will not bring you in luck.
That
Not
makes
that one.
that
Please
kind of
don't
No.
cut my lips.
no, please. Please, can we welcome Refilwe Diselle?
Naturally, as every person, there were moments where I felt like I was not good enough. I did get bullied in school, mind you, but I think I didn't really realize I was being bullied. I just thought, girls are just nasty to each other because I went to an all-girls school. All my life I went to all
I left an
Girls
all-girls
are
school.
nasty.
I said, you are stronger than me. I said, Dad, Mom, take me out. Cut the cameras.
No,
I'm very excited today because they brought me back. No, Ntantla, I didn't hide in the studio.
and wait
didn't
for
go
my
anywhere.
moment. Relationship.
Men are not just trash because of a look. They're just okay. You're not trash.
No,
Men are
no.
problematic.
Men are just the problem because they
Across
need
the
to
board.
fix themselves.
All right, one of the biggest moments I think as a sports fan that I had was back in 2007. It was a really great time. It was the Rugby World Cup. Not any kind of Rugby World Cup, of course. It was the one that the Springboks won. The man who was in charge of all that, basically, the man who raised the trophy, the man that brought it all to us, was none other than John Smith. And here he is in studio with us.
But if it's any consolation, it was one of my favorite sporting moments as well.
I hope so. Great. We're on a level pegging here.
Episode 61, the big 2007 Rugby World Cup show with John Smith, dropping 14th of August.
Yep, it's all happening this morning. Buffaloes taking out Hunters. Excitement Flex playing for, what is it called? Orbit
College FC. You'll see Flex
yeah.
running out there quite soon.
Yeah, he's gonna. So our producer will be a major soccer star soon. And then the poll from this morning. We asked about the Buffalo and the Hunter, and whose side are you on? and we had close to 100 votes here. It looks like the Buffalo well in the lead, 70%. Human only got 15. And screw both of them. The true cynics, the narcissists, the nihilists, they say make up 14% of our audience. It tells you quite a lot about this audience.
What was the third option?
Blood hungry, just nasty people. I mean, it's you guys are just awful.
I just think we like to see balance. I think we like to see balance, and that's what nature is.
Yeah. No, it's true. I completely concur with the audience. Obviously, we cast our votes at the beginning, so you know how I feel. But there's 14% of the people listening who are truly, truly awful people. They just screw both. Fuck you, man. It's Friday morning, but I'm cross.
Yep.
I haven't been cross for a long time. That's a good realization. I had
I just
that
get
realization.
cross when you say me ugly people.
Yeah, but you don't get cross.
I do.
You
No, I
get
get cross.
you get vaguely annoyed and irritated. You know who I thought of the other day, James? Maybe you can still find it. Is all those old people in that old age home doing those exercises? Do you remember that? We used to end the show with that, like for like 2 weeks.
We haven't had the Stairway to Stardom for quite some time.
Oh,
as well.
that's also good stuff. Yeah,
That was
Stairway to
great.
Stardom. That was great. All right, so what updates do you have for us from your life, Ben? We haven't caught up on any of this stuff for some time.
My life,
We talk
Gareth.
about the sport. We talk about general wellness and psychological well-being. But
Just
what's been happening?
Constantly just trying to strip things down and make it simple here. Travel.
So strippers, really?
No,
Oh.
of course not. No, I mean, I've just
Machoshas.
not
no.
at all. That's the last thing I ever want to get associated
You don't
with.
want no. Of course
No,
not.
I want purity, happiness, and simplicity.
Uh-huh.
And each week, I'm just trying to find new ways. Huh? Gymming hard, sauntering with random oaks. I was in fan court last
You're
week.
going to
played
find
golf.
a lot of women sauntering with oaks.
Well, no,
No, and none of them in there.
I don't know of unisex saunas, and quite frankly, I don't want them.
there's a unisex sauna at one of the gyms in
Bryanston, I think.
Bryanston, yeah, and
It's quite
it
area
seems-
specific. A lot of swingers.
Is that what it is?
Well,
I would have thought it was just chilled. I haven't been. Someone said to me it's a good idea.
Look, I would prefer not to be in unisex sauna
Okay.
because I don't want to
Reasons?
listen to the endless conversations.
Oh right. Yeah. You get roped into stupid
and
conversations.
then guys like, yo, but you get to see chicks. It's like, no, you don't. And if you do, trust me, they're not going to be hot.
You don't think so?
Guys, come on.
I mean, you've got a better chance of seeing an attractive woman at a gym than at a McDonald's.
I guess.
Yeah?
I guess, sure. But I just think it's a weird thing to want. It's like everyone had these strange fantasies, like, oh, there'll be all these hot chicks, and then
No, but it's
it's like,
it's
guys,
not a porn
that's-
movie. It's a unisex public. You're in there. There are other people around, and it's people in swimming costumes, probably, and towels.
Towels, yeah.
So it'd be no different to going to a public pool if that's a thing that people do.
No, look, I don't think it should be weird. I think we should be very comfortable with the fact that we should have more unisex spaces because we
Yeah.
should be able to behave properly.
Yes,
That should
I
be the
agree.
last. Yeah,
I agree.
totally. I just want. I don't want.
In other words, the opposite of the Taliban.
we should be that. We should be
Yes,
much stronger
we should
and
always
better.
try to.
and,
I think if we aim to be the exact opposite of the Taliban in everything we do, we'll have much better lives.
yeah, I think we should be very comfortable in those situations because it would
Agreed.
show maturity and just general well-being. But no, Gareth. Winter's a tough one in Joburg for like a lot of things, and I'm definitely using the downtime quite well. I think I'm becoming a little bit smarter and happier.
Balance, right?
Putting a lot of work into the show at the moment.
Good.
That's all I can really tell you.
Well, the show's been amazing. So
Thank you. Love life is
I
still a work in progress, just like my hairline.
So just not really looking great at the moment, but we're hoping for better times.
Oh, but also like unlike James, who's in a relationship.
What? You
No,
set
she
up
wasn't.
Hinge?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta just
Oh, so you're back on those?
I'm back on.
I don't know if you want to talk about this because
I don't.
otherwise yeah.
But I mean, it's there in the background, and yeah. I wish I had more exciting things to say, but
Then stop.
that's kind of life.
Carl says that the gym at just stop. The gym at Malberton is also unisex sauna. It's not the chicks you want to see. It's MIF. That's bad news for Malberton.
Well,
where's
Carl just echoing
Malberton again? That's
what-
in the Cape.
South.
Is it? It's in Malbarton. Where is Malbarton?
Pretty sure it's the south.
Okay,
Look,
well,
if it's coming from
Carl,
Carl,
yeah, help us. Is this a poorer thing that
it's
we
a
don't
poorer,
understand?
It's a poorer thing. I
Okay.
think it's the south.
How's this? Mapelo says, and you know how Mapelo can be very strident these days.
Very.
Yesterday, I saw a woman wearing a gown and flip-flops in a shopping center. I shamed her properly. I want to commend you for shaming her. I think that is unacceptable. You should not be wearing a gown and flops in public, ever. Yeah. You shouldn't even go out to collect stuff from Uber Eats in your gown and flops. I think that's just appalling.
It really
is. It would be better to go out naked, if you ask me.
Yeah, but this is the thing with
Just
marijuana,
revolting.
though. It makes you.
You think it's marijuana?
It makes your bar so low in life. You
Good
think
point.
You think that kind of stuff's cool. And yes, Malbarton is in the south. We're right.
There are always mafutas in the gym, says Vyasan. Well, Stephen brings up, and I brought this up last week with our guests about the guy shaving his balls. It's people shaving their balls too, Gareth, remember.
They shave their balls in the gym.
I saw a guy, like an old man, Ben. He put his foot on the basin, and he was going to town shaving his bollocks, and then rinsing the shaver off under the tap and going back to the bollocks. And he even used shaving cream. The guy had come prepared. He had a fucking bag, a chegas, and he put all his stuff in the chegas afterwards. He had a little washcloth. He had I was appalled.
Shaving your balls is something we need to talk about. Firstly, good on you wanting to be hygienic.
Do we have to talk about this? Okay.
But it's such a difficult thing.
Yes.
So
it's best done at home.
Best done at home under a very steady hand in
good lighting. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And not taking risks. I mean, if this old chap, this geezer had nicked himself, he could have bled out and died right there on the floor of the bathroom of the gym.
Queasy.
And the reason I know about this is I was in the sauna and he was right in front of me.
But also, old bollocks are very saggy bollocks, so it's a difficult area because you need to create.
I got to be honest. I didn't see the bollocks. Fortunately, there was an angle to it where I didn't have to look directly at the bollocks of the asshole. But he was taking on the necessary positions, and I've got to say, I didn't know there were old people who were as supple as that. But he did what he had to do. My problem is that you do that at home. There's some stuff you do at home. You, as a man, you clip your fucking nose hairs. You make sure you don't have tufts of ear hair.
Yeah, completely.
You don't smell bad.
And also,
you brush your teeth, but you do as much of that as possible at home. There is no reason for you to have to do any of that, unless you don't, for some reason, like you've broken every tap in your house and you live like an animal.
But even then, you buy bottled water and you make a plan. But just the idea of shaving bollocks is so niche and so difficult.
And deeply personal and quiet.
I mean, I
and
trim
disciplined.
mine like all other
sure, but do
gentlemen.
this shit at home. I cannot imagine whipping out the fucking beard trimmer and having a go in the. I cannot imagine doing that anywhere except, and even in my house, I sometimes think there's no one likely to come into the house. No one's going to knock on the door with a surprise. Now's the time, right? And then you get on with it. I would not like a surprise. I would not like someone to
People
walk in.
we live amongst.
While you go, what are you doing? Doing a little
me things.
Maintenance.
Yeah. Give me some me time.
This guy completely didn't care about it. Anyway, I thought that might irritate you like it did me. Gareth, if you had to choose the old bully shaving his balls or the young guy with his feet on the table, yeah, that was another problem I had. Both of those are unacceptable. Again, just behave yourself. These are who raised you? Wolves? Who taught you nothing about general civilized, sophisticated human behavior? There should be some part of you that acknowledges those things matter and are important and are conducive to good interactions between humans. You want to do well in business? You need to be able to have manners and treat people well and show some respect. Pitch up on time. Wear clothes that are appropriate. Not shave your bollocks in the gym. Not put your feet on the table in a restaurant, you know? Sounds like Ben is that friend Gareth spoke about a while back who's looking for a relationship, putting two and two together. No, I have a lot of friends who are. I have a lot of friends who are. It's definitely not Ben. If you find the right one, you'll be happy with it. But if not, you're perfectly happy anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Not the slightest bit worried, actually. Deep down.
It's a tough job, like trying to shave meatballs. You've put a very thin, on a very thin, uninflated balloon. Yeah, it is kind of, It's a messy business if you don't get it right.
But it's just the need for such a close trim on your balls.
Yes, we're still talking about this.
It's I mean, I've thought about it, but I've never actually put a razor to my balls. Why would you need to? It's such a high tariff game to play. It's like tightrope walking with nothing.
Very high risk business,
Huge.
Yeah. I mean, also, again, if you're doing this at home on your own, which is what we're advocating you should do, should you wish to have a close shave, okay? Something goes wrong. I mean, you gotta.
It's a sensitive area to bleed.
What are you gonna? How are you gonna sort that out?
Yeah. You know, like no woman's.
How are you gonna get to the hospital, and what clothing, what attire are you gonna put on that doesn't involve something around the area of
it's tough.
particular concern?
But like, no woman's ever said to me, you know, if you just had less, if you were really fucking shaved down there, this would be the greatest. Like that wouldn't haunt.
Bald.
No one's ever said to me, yeah, he's a great guy and he's got a shaved ball sack. No one's ever said that. I've never heard that conversation.
Well, no one in the world is. No one. I've never met anyone who's interested in anything to do with the balls. In fact, it's a very, very low interest area. I would say when it comes to, I mean, it performs obviously a very vital function biologically, but no one is interested in the balls. No one ever goes,
it's not primary, huh?
I mean, it doesn't. It's not even number 500 on the list. Honestly, if you think about all the things that make someone interesting, attractive, unattractive, or whatever, and you're thinking about men here, girls, I need some advice if I've got this wrong, but I don't imagine balls come into the top 100 of things.
It's a weird thing for women to have to actually just grasp in more ways than one.
I've never heard a woman say, even if I
love his balls.
Never. Even if they didn't know I was listening and I walked past and I happened to catch. I've never heard that. I've heard a lot of crazy things come from women, and they've said unbelievable, surprising things to me. That has never been said. Never.
I've spoken to a lot of surprising women in my time. I've never heard that either.
Ben, Dr. Evil said it best. You should try a freshly shorn scrotum. It's quite refreshing. Gijs says maybe that's why he was shaving at the gym. In case he slips, someone would call the ambulance. Still, hard to make it an acceptable thing when you're making it someone else's problem. Ben's face processing the thought of how it would happen. Shaving his balls is scary. The only time that there is interest in balls is when a doctor asks you to cough. Yeah. I mean, I think you only really consider it when something goes horribly wrong, or you feel something that shouldn't be there, which I encourage all men to check. Testicular cancer is a real thing. You need to be aware of this. And also when it comes to fertility. Like, let's say you want to have a kid. You are in a relationship with someone you want to have a kid with, and as a guy, you suddenly become aware of your balls. You're like, oh, these things, they have to perform a biological and sexual and physiological function. They got to procreate the species. Now they have a purpose. Up till then, they were just this weird,
if you
horrible thing.
You have me thinking about balls right now. Your day is not going to be the same. If you listen to this, you're going, never thought about that.
Yeah, I don't.
So
I don't believe anyone left home this morning thinking, yeah, today's the day I'm going to consider the lilies. No, consider the balls.
But like, people are going to be in boardrooms today, and there'll be a guy standing up, and he'll be giving a very important speech about fucking bottom lines or whatever. And in your mind, you're going, I wonder how hangy his balls are. I wonder how hairy his balls are. I wonder what he thinks about his balls.
While we're on this, because it isn't a subject that comes up often, is it true that old men have very hangy balls?
Of course.
They get like
your
loose
balls are
and
hangier
long.
than when you're in your 20s. Use yourself as a reference. I mean, I'm not saying you need to put like a ruler from your belly button down.
Do they get like dangly?
Of course.
we need experts on this. Can we not get a doctor in here at some point? Don't
Gareth, it's
ball doctor.
It's a simple answer. Just use yourself as a reference. My balls are more hangy than they used to be. I'm not saying that they're hitting my knee, but I mean, there's a bit more bungee in the cord, so to speak.
Ben looks a little like Ben Affleck today. Must be all the old man ball talk, says Lauren.
Why is this so fascinating?
Okay, so then we've got never met a man that has any. Oh, wow. B says she's never met a man who has any balls.
Sure. There's a bit of hurt there, huh?
Let's just take a moment to acknowledge B's hurt. Okay, that's
Sun always rises tomorrow, B.
Yeah. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Okay, there we go. That's a little pep up for B this morning. One of South Africa's largest companies is being reported to the Human Rights Commission over a school program. You remember this made quite a lot of noise when Bidvest was reported by Solidarity to the Human Rights Commission and the UN, alleging that their employee bursary program is racially discriminatory for excluding white applicants. So you could ask to be considered for this bursary from Bidvest, but if you were white, you were out straight away.
Yeah.
The bursary was funded through a triple BEE, which is what broad-based black economic empowerment. I always have to think about that one. Aims to uplift historically disadvantaged individuals. Solidarity argues that the policy violates constitutional and international rights, calling for a more inclusive class-based approach. So it is possible that you can be white and disadvantaged.
Sure.
There are plenty of poor white people.
Have been
Plenty.
for ages. Yeah.
And maybe for various reasons, I don't know, you could have been born in the wrong place to the wrong parents and
Wrong uncle.
fetal alcohol syndrome and God knows what else. You could have been interfered with by your uncle. I mean, there are lots of reasons. You could also just have not been able to go to school because your mom is morbidly obese and you've had to look after her, like in Gilbert Grape.
Yes.
I mean, there's stories about disadvantage everywhere. And why should we, in a post-apartheid South Africa, why is it even controversial that companies should not discriminate on the basis of race or on the basis of gender?
Yep.
Why is this not difficult? Why is it so difficult, for people to understand this? Surely someone at Bidvest has to get their head out of their ass and realize that there is no reason to make it a racial thing. You're either disadvantaged or you're not. And if you're going to help people, help the most talented person who's in the most disadvantage.
I don't mean to be playing devil's advocate in this, but are these big corporates not forced to do things like this for the triple BE ratings?
Well, then that is outrageous. And if those are the rules, they need to be changed. So if the company's not to blame, then we've got to find out what it is that incentivizes the company to behave like this. Because this is
That to me seems like a better argument.
This is nothing short of discrimination. That's what it is. Discrimination, racism cloaked in white rather than in black. That's what it is. And if you reverse the colors and it sounds wrong, that's because it is wrong.
It's cuck for the kids. That's what I always think. It's like,
imagine you're a talented kid who has just not been fortunate. Your parents are losers. You grew up under huge strain. You never had a good education or resources, but you are supremely dedicated, disciplined, hardworking. You read everything you could find from, the back of the fucking Rice Krispies box to novels by Victor Hugo. And you get to a point where you're on the brink of something tremendous. You can't afford to go to university or school or whatever. And then there's this bursary and you apply because you think this is a lifeline. And then they throw you out just because you're white or just because you're a male or just because you're black or whatever. It just seems so unkind. It seems, people always talk about fairness. So how about fairness without creating new kinds of discrimination? Makes sense to me. I know that it's very en vogue these days for people to say whatever they want about white people and males in particular. it's like
Easy targets.
no one's going to get upset. You can say whatever you like about them. We could put them at the back of every queue. But in the long run, it is never a good idea to discriminate for any reason against any group. It just has a horrible way of coming back to bite you. And if we've learned nothing from this country's history, if not the history of the world in the last 100 years, then we are doomed to repeat those mistakes. So just stop it.
Just tell it to check quickly.
If you're a company that does this kind of thing,
Just tell it to check.
stop it. It's unnecessary. If you're looking for people to fulfill a role in your company, choose the best people. Not only because that will result in the best kind of competitiveness within the company, but also the people who you hire will know they've been hired because they're good. None of them will feel, oh my God, I was only hired because I'm white, because I'm black, because I'm female, or because I fill some quota. The best people. We have the best people. Amazing. Look at these people. They're tremendous. Nobody has to feel like they're not deserving of the role. In fact, you're more than deserving. You were the chosen person out of all the people we could have chosen. Seems obvious to me. Maybe I'm just full of shit. Carl says the third party who did that policy at Bidvest is owned by Cyril. Okay. Not kidding. So he makes racist laws and then benefits by having consulting companies help enforce them. Yeah.
Wow.
It's also just enough.
That's so Cyril here. It's just a Cyril thing to do.
Yeah, what a disappointing human being. Shannon says we can hear someone on the phone. I assume James is buggering around in the studio there. Yeah, well, everyone could hear it in the show, so you obviously had it on.
Must I get out of here?
No. Do you want to go? Did the ball conversation make you uncomfortable?
No, I mean, I know there's only one chair here, so I mean, I'm just
No,
thinking.
it's someone on the line, Ben. It's an online person. You're welcome to stay.
Okay.
Bitcoin Butch says, imagine the ladies' room at the gym. Some fat old lady trying to trim around her beef curtains.
Wow.
Listen.
That's a different conversation, which we are now having. Yeah, having a go at the beef is, I think, an easier,
Sure.
but no less controversial undertaking.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the positions you have to get into.
But do you think women have the same conversation? We have bold conversations easy. Do you think
they
women
do.
have, like...
I know they do about shaving their legs. I know they do about... yeah, I think they do.
In the
Waxing.
parallel
Yeah, I've
universe,
heard
is
those
there a podcast right now with two women going, and then she was clipping her beef, and this woman, the dexterity that she had was...
That's probably a very interesting place to take it. The Real Network should consider branding their gear, laptops, mic stand, etc., so the brand appears. You know, Marpello, you're angling very hard for a job, hey? Yeah, it's not a bad idea, but also, you know what I'm tired of is like just too much branding. I think when there's a shouting brand.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing on the set, really. Behind me, on the wide.
Yeah, but we've got the little watermark in
there
the
we
corner. Yeah, we got the watermark in the corner. I just feel like there's some elegance and subtlety.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm willing to be corrected. Maybe Marpello has a point.
Maybe I should straighten this one. There we go.
Oh, thank you, Ben. That's very good. Yeah, much better. Appreciate that. All right. Then someone said that it is true that the balls grow longer because gravity happens and aging skin happens.
Well, you all lose your elasticity, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
people say like earlobes.
It's like my fucking wrinkles around my face. I mean, I laugh all day. I have very defined laugh lines.
Yes.
So that skin starts to sag, and I look older around the face. Same thing around the balls.
But I'd rather have laugh lines than look young.
Yeah.
I mean, I love to laugh. So
Me too.
If my face is an advertisement, if my face makes you laugh.
My face is an example of how nothing in my life is actually serious.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
But also, it's like I can't judge my balls for certain activity. It's just that age has provided that. But I still think I haven't had a good look at my balls in a while. But I haven't gone like, wow, those really are.
No one has.
No one
takes them as a separate unit and evaluates them. No one does. This may be the first conversation of its kind in the universe. Who knows? Just don't imagine it happening any time before this. I've never thought about it that much.
Me either.
Gray says, and I think this is right, a disadvantage isn't just money-based. Some people also have no family and need mental health care. That's true. I'm sure the pinball players have balls on the brain, walking with their hands in their pockets all day. Pinball players? Anna Marie, you need to explain yourself.
Well, you get guys who got their hands in their pockets because they're constantly scratching their balls or playing with their balls.
Oh, that's revolting. Okay, yeah.
I'm just guessing here. Again, it's not my sort of neck of the woods.
You know, it's such a strange thing to consider what people are actually thinking. Someone said to me once, if they could have any superpower, they'd read people's minds, and I thought, no, that would be the worst superpower.
You would hate humans. You wouldn't leave the house. You would have no friends.
And you would get into the bizarre heads of every person you walked past, and you'd be alarmed. I mean, you'd be alarmed what people are thinking.
Yeah. I mean, there's that Mel Gibson movie, What Women Want, or whatever it was.
Yes, where he could
and
actually...
he gets struck by lightning or some
right.
crap. And then he can hear the thoughts of women and how they lie.
Yes. Well, so there's an interesting theory going around by sociologists and people who study these things about the competition between women and how it can never be out in the open. So over millions of years of evolution, men have developed very public forms of competition, sport, business, where we compete, and we see a result, and there's like this guy won and that guy lost. But the costs of female competition, especially in mating and in social hierarchies and the rest, the cost of that is much higher for women than it is for men. So they try to avoid open competition. You do find women who compete openly, like in women's sport, for example. Sometimes there's a corporate kind of competition going on, but it tends to be a lot more subtle. And I think that the conclusion that people are coming to is that women have developed a very complicated way of asserting themselves and being competitive, which they are. And it's not as direct and obvious as male competition.
Well, I think the difference is that guys get over things, and competition is a way of growing and also bonding. There's camaraderie in competition. With women, it's very personal and very almost final.
Guys, this is another part of the study, to your point, and it agrees with you, I think, here, is that guys learn to lose as well.
Because it's part of where we need to be.
Yeah. And often women, certainly because the competition isn't so public, they don't really know whether they've won or lost, and neither do the other people involved. So the result is often disguised, tends to be collaborative rather than competitive, which is another interesting difference. And again, for various reasons, the males and the females of the species have developed different tactics that contribute to an overall good, right? I mean,
sure, there's amazing feminine qualities.
Collaboration has tremendous value in families and societies, but so does competition. Women just compete very differently to men. And I wonder if, as someone who has paid attention to women's sport more than I have, because you've reported on it and you know a little bit more than I do, whether you see that in the sport itself. No? You're already shaking your head. You don't watch any women's
shaking
sport.
my head.
No, because this also came up
Ask
on Monday with James and Leanne, because we were talking about women's sport in the WNBA, which is now in the news, and saying, well, people don't watch it. They don't. It's just not as exciting, and that's not because those athletes aren't incredible. They are, and we believe that there should be a women's and a men's division in certain sports. In fact, in most sports, but we need to understand that the element of competition is different. Am I going too deep on this?
No. Look, it's a never-ending conversation with this, and I think as a guy, you're only going to come out looking bad. But here we are. Women's sport's great. You need women playing sport. I think it's such a healthy thing to do. It's so good for kids. It's so good for anybody. But unfortunately, there's only so much that takes it to a higher level, and women don't watch women's sport. So how can you at any stage expect there to be a competitive commercial platform where they're going to be the same as guys? guys also watch guys' sports. They've only got so much time in the day. They're not suddenly going to like now jettison their actual loves to now watch other things. So there's nothing wrong with women's sport. It's great. The more we can do it, the better. But there's only so much that can make it professional and top line. That's the only answer I could ever give. It's not personal. It's not being vindictive. I'm not throwing a dildo at anybody. But that's just the reality.
Thank God, Ben. I needed you to clear your.
If women want to have
your
more
name.
money in sport, then more women must watch sport. Let's start there. Let's start that conversation. And when people get really angry about that, then realize that you can't have a conversation with certain people. It's quite simple, because guys can love women's sport, but it's like being in a relationship, like James. You can't be everything to everyone, right? You've got your primary, your focus.
Yeah,
He can't now have 3 or 4 other girlfriends.
I know.
It's the same with me in sport. I've already got teams that I watch. I'm sorry, but I can't now throw the WNBA in there.
Right.
What time do I find for this?
Which brings me to this show and the fact that we're changing it to one live show a week. There are going to be some interview shows thrown in as well. So whenever there's someone really amazing that I feel like we need to have a longer conversation with, we will still do those. And
it'll be set up like this, in a one chair, like I am in.
yeah, right now. But the live show will be a whole mix of stuff, and that's to the point that Ben made now about how much time you have in your day, how you spend it. I feel like we just are giving people maybe too much, and you don't have time to listen to all of that. So it's more in recognition of the fact that you have a limited amount of time available, and that I want you to have the best possible product. There we go. We'll close on that. All right. So I want to talk about this thing. Have you got these guys on for me, James? Okay, brilliant. So on Monday's show, Leanne was, I don't know, so much for her being a journalist, by the way. She really needs to check her sources. We were talking about the Trump tariffs, and we were talking about how South Africa is likely to have this 30% tariff put into play, and it's going to cost a lot of jobs. It's going to be a very, very difficult thing for South Africa to navigate and for companies in South Africa to navigate. And the politicians may have dropped the ball on this. They're apparently talking, this is news this morning, that President Trump and President Ramaphosa had a conversation yesterday, and that they're busy discussing how the trade arrangements are going to work going forward. But on Monday, Leanne said that Jendamark, which is an amazing company in the Eastern Cape, were either, I can't remember if she said shutting down or they were changing their whole model of business. Anyway, she got it wrong. So I thought it would be a good idea to get these guys on this morning so they could tell us, first of all, what they do. Second of all, whether these tariffs are going to affect them. And third of all, what's happening in terms of business. So I'm thrilled to have Siegfried Lokotsch on. He's from Jendamark Automation. He's the chairman of the board for Jendamark India. So it's an international company. Also qualified chartered accountant and a global business leader. He's been instrumental in expanding their footprint to over 35 countries. Phenomenal. Known for his make it happen attitude, he has helped shift the company's focus to export-driven growth and leads its social impact initiatives in education and sport across South Africa and India. Well done on all of that, Siegfried. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, and thank you for making time for us.
Hello, Gareth. Thanks for having me.
Cool. So let's get this right, because I think Leanne completely screwed this up. You've not closed down any operations. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, look, I don't think Leanne. To be honest, I don't think it's Leanne's fault. I think the reporting that was done by some other news outlets was incorrect, and I think maybe she picked the story up from there, and it's not entirely her fault. But it's fine. We can rectify the situation.
What? I'm going to blame her anyway.
Don't go too hard on her. Don't go too hard on her, Gareth.
So let's just talk about what Jendamark does. I mean, first of all, just reading this introduction and all the stuff that you've done, 35 countries. What is your business? What does Jendamark do? Tell me about the company.
Yeah, so we build automated assembly lines and software. If a new automotive company, big OEM like Ford, BMW, Mercedes, needs to build a new model, like let's say BMW is bringing in a 2 Series, they would approach us to look at manufacturing or designing and building an assembly line that would manufacture an axle, a differential, and engine. So if you drive a BMW, it needs an engine, it needs an axle, it needs a differential. We're the guys who would actually build the assembly line for them that would assemble that component or that part of the vehicle. We export our lines all over the world. 85% of our business is export. We export into Germany, we export into the USA, we export to China, we export to pretty much everywhere. Only 15% of our business
Wow.
is local. Yeah.
That sounds
And
phenomenal.
just to put in perspective, so we have about 1,000 employees, of which 500 in South Africa, have about 400 in India, and then the rest are spread between Germany and the US. So we've got 4 offices. Our main production facilities are in South Africa and India. So we produce in lower cost countries. But we homebred South African company, been around for 35 years. Our DNA is 100% South Africa. Everything that we
Love
do
it.
is based on the pride of what we do. And we actually export technology. I mean, to put it in perspective, Gareth, I don't know if you've ever heard of any companies that actually export technology into the big German companies in Germany. They buy directly from us in the armpit of Africa, as you used to
That's
call.
phenomenal.
I remember once you referred to P as the armpit, so they they buy
I've
from
always
us
been.
in
I
Quebec.
know I've always been rude about PE, Siegfried. So that's another conversation. But let's
No,
just
that's fine. But I mean, can you
let's
imagine
just
them buying it
focus
from us?
on. So I love this. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds to me like it's incredible. It's a very high standard of manufacturing. You guys clearly are able to be at the forefront of kind of leading this industry in South Africa. I obviously want this, as do every other. I'm sure everybody who's listening to us this morning and watching, they all want South African companies to do well. What is the reality, though, of these tariffs? If they come into play, what sort of effect is that going to have on a business like yours and perhaps other businesses who are thinking about the same thing?
No, it's devastating. It's far worse than what people can comprehend. I don't think the effect on the ground is it's difficult to explain it to people. So for us, obviously, I've got my employees in South Africa, of which there's 500 of us, but we're in a
Yeah,
little bit of a different situation. Uh, about 2-3 years ago, when there was rumblings of us being kicked out of AGOA because of our political alignment with different countries, we decided that we needed to have a backup plan just in case we lost. So under AGOA, you were able to export into the US tariff-free. And obviously, if we lost that, that would affect us. So we started looking at other markets, and we've managed to diversify. We've got some good business in Saudi Arabia, find some other markets in countries like Poland and Slovakia and places like that.
sure.
But the bigger impact for me is on my supply chain. So it's taken us 25 years because of the highly technical nature of our business. We have lots of businesses that we support from a mom and pop shop, 2 people doing machining, to a shop, company that's got 25 employees, and they do specific things for us, and we make up a big part of their business. Now, as soon as the tariff comes in, we might not be able to give them work for a couple of months or 6
Yeah,
months or 12 months, and I might be able to pivot. They don't have the ability to pivot. So what
yeah.
happens is they go out of business. And that knock-on effect, which I worked out in our supply chain, like a domino, it's probably approximately 3,000 people that could be affected by that.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I mean, the reality of this is that the politicians, whether it's Donald Trump and Cyril getting their heads, knocking their heads together in a room, or their teams, whoever these trade delegations are, these are people's lives and businesses that have been built over decades that are suddenly under huge threat because these guys are trying to play a commercial and trade game with each other. And I understand there must be enormous frustration all over South Africa. I know that exporters are very concerned in the agricultural industry too. And you guys have something to do with that too. You're also involved in these automotive components that you've told us about and the assembly line stuff. But I mean, I'm sure that there are people the Eastern Cape has got some amazing agriculture.
Yeah.
There are people
I've
in the
got lots
Western
of
Cape
farmer.
who, yeah,
Yeah.
and those guys are now
I've got
under
lots of
tremendous threat.
Yeah, I mean, we've got massive citrus industry. I mean, I know lots of farmers here they potentially are going to lose their farms. I mean, what I don't understand is we've known about this for 7 months. We knew it was coming, but we
Yeah.
did nothing about it. Gareth, the so-called Liberation Day when Donald Trump was standing on the White House with his big board
Yeah.
and our name was on there, that happened 2nd of April. You know what should have happened the 3rd of April? These guys should have got on a plane and flew to the White House and camped out there.
Yep.
Started lobbying,
Yep.
started talking. And all we need to do is talk to them. Look, I get Donald Trump's trying to bully us. I get all of that. Okay, and I'm not saying that we have to agree to everything.
Sure.
But we lastminute.com. They have a meeting with me on the 1st. I had a meeting with some government delegation last week, Friday. That's when the tariffs came in. So what must we do now? And so when I asked them, what they say to me.
Hang on. So
No.
they worked out that they needed to meet with you, but on the day that the tariffs came in.
Yeah, Friday. Then they give me the old. Oh no, don't worry. We've created a help desk. So I'm like, guys, what does a help desk help me? No, that's for you guys to go into other markets. I said to him, do you know how long it takes for us? It took us 18 months to get an order out of Saudi Arabia. Your help desk is really not going. That's what they say to me. Then I asked him and I said to him, okay, so how long? No, we're negotiating. We're doing all the best we can do. We've engaged. Then they say to me, no, well, we're under NDA and it's going to take some time. So I'm like, well, how much time? So they said, well, they don't really know because the way they're doing this, Gareth, and this is from them, they told me this, is whoever came first to the White House in the queue to sign the NDA, they first in the negotiation. Now you must understand, there's 90 countries scrambling.
Jesus.
We're like 50th or 60th in the queue because we did nothing.
Yeah, and
So now we
to
have
make
to
it
wait.
worse, we have these very, very high tariffs, whereas some of them have been given half of that, some of them a whole lot less than that too. And all because our government just refused to deal with this situation. They just kept kicking the can down the road. I'm so pleased you're being straightforward with us this morning too about this, because most businesses are terrified of saying what's actually going on. And then when the shit hits the fan, they kind of have nowhere to complain to because they were part of the problem, trying to cover up for government. Well done on that front. I just want to ask you, because I've always been rude and mean about the Eastern Cape, although I've got friends there and it's a terrific place. I mean, there's so much potential there, right? We've been hearing a lot about the automotive industry as a whole. We know East London has always had a major export role in automotive parts and full vehicles. There have been factories there. How is the Eastern Cape doing generally? Because I also hear from people like George Meany at Auto Trader, who I have a lot to do with, that it's not looking good. And we're going to lose more jobs there. And this is very, very concerning, especially for towns like PE and East London.
Yeah, we're very reliant on the automotive industry, especially East London. So I'm hearing via, and again, this is just hearsay. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but Mercedes-Benz plant is closed for a month or 6 weeks or 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you know, Gareth, that most of their production goes to the US because they produce the C-Class? Okay. So what I'm hearing, and I heard this again, it's not a factual thing, it's just what I've heard via through my contacts. I mean, I'm hearing that potentially Mercedes-Benz might close down in East London. That our government's now negotiating with a Chinese company to come in there and take over. And these guys they're not going to invest in a supply chain. So the problem that you've got is it's your tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 suppliers that supports that network. That's where you have the job losses. Now, if they leave East London, I promise you, I think it'll be a ghost town. I mean, as it is already, the Eastern Cape is the poorest province in the country.
Right.
The only real good thing we had going for us was the automotive industry. And and the other thing, Gareth, it's one of the few industries that we actually export something that we make, that we add value. Like if you take Jendamark, we actually, I mean, the stuff that we build is built with IP. It's South African technology. I mean, some of my machines are the best in the world. I've got machines that have been running for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've got some of the fastest catalytic converter assembly lines in the world. I beat the Germans, I beat the Americans. And now I'm being slapped with a tariff, which I did nothing.
Yeah.
It was nothing of my doing, and I'm not allowed to be at the table negotiating. I've got to have people that are supposed to represent us negotiating. And the reason why I'm really vocal about this is I can carry on with my life, Gareth. I can go to India, I can go to Germany, I can do that.
Sure.
But the small guy can't. He's not coming on your show, and he doesn't have a voice. I'm
Yeah.
actually doing it for the other 3,000 people out there, and I'm tired of it. I really am tired of it. I'm tired of
Well, listen,
politics.
man.
I'm tired of all this shit that's going on in this country.
I am fully behind you. I think it's tremendous that you are holding and flying that flag for us and keeping things together and trying to save as many jobs as possible. I wish you guys the best of luck. It seems like there is so much rallied against us in terms of these tariffs and the government incompetence and all the shit that we deal with, as you rightly put it, on a daily basis. But I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that there are other companies like you who are not only making plans to survive and to thrive, but I hope you have some luck come your way for a change, because boer maak 'n plan. Eventually, like, the boer gets sick of making the plan, like you've said.
Absolutely.
All right, well, best of luck, man.
No, I
and
appreciate
thank you,
that.
Siegfried.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Gareth. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Really good
and,
to talk to you.
We'll keep fighting. We'll keep
Yeah,
fighting.
please do.
And we South Africans. Yeah, we'll keep fighting.
Damn
All
right.
right. Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
man.
Have a good one. Chat to you later.
Appreciate
Cheers,
it.
man.
Have
Bye.
a good weekend. Well, there we go.
You too. Cheers.
Jendamark. And now we know a little bit more about them. And I tell you, this is important not only because of the particulars of their challenge that they've got, but so many businesses around South Africa that are trying to cope with this.
It just always makes me sad, like how incredible the people are of this country, and we're represented by the absolute worst. What did I just describe? He makes the assembly line that these huge companies rely on.
Yes.
How fucking smart you've got to be. How
Yes.
diligent you've got to be. How much hard work you've got to that point.
And how much risk and investment you have to make yourself. You have to take the risk. You have to set up those assembly lines, build the factories, hire the people, take a chance, and then...
And now he's got to share a table with someone who probably bought his matric, cannot understand anything globally, and has never made an honest cent in their life. Yeah. And he's got to now be diplomatic and say, look, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And they have no idea what they're doing.
They're like, oh, shit, it's the 1st of August. We better do something. Yeah, it's not ideal. But as usual, I think it'll be an amazing thing to see South Africans rise to the occasion, and we will. But I just wish our government would do one or two things to just direct the ship maybe away from the rocks. That would be nice. Just away from the rocks, guys. Like, even if you haven't got a course charted, you don't necessarily know whether we're going to Portugal or to Miami. It would be nice, though, if we just weren't heading straight for the rocks and someone grabbed the tiller and took us in the right direction. That would be nice. Right? Not too much to ask. No. All right. But thank you very much to Siegfried, and thank you to Ben, and thank you to you for being with us this morning. There's plenty of good stuff still to come, and if you haven't watched the latest episode of the On the Bounce show, Ben has been talking football. He's also had some amazing guests in the last while that you need to catch up on, people that you do want to hear from.
Yeah, next week, John Smith's on the show as well.
Amazing.
We're having a bit of nostalgia around the 2007 Rugby World Cup, and John's just, he's great.
He really is.
He really is amazing.
Superb. I loved Wynand Olivier.
That interview was... it's tough for me. I don't think it's professional for me to say by having favorites. I mean, and you'll have memories of great interviews. The interview with Wynand is amazing. What a great guy.
So much fun.
Just a great guy.
Yeah, I used to drink with him in Pretoria. So I saw the real character come through. It was awesome.
Yeah, super guy.
And James promises he'll bring the puppy in next week, at least one of the days. Oh, no, hang on. No, James is away next week, aren't you?
Romantic getaway.
Romantic getaway, James.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
With your
He's going to his
girlfriend.
parents. He's going to J-Bay.
Has she met the parents yet, James? This is the meet the parents trip. Love how we are covering.
We should have started the show with that. If only we'd known. All right. So big week for our
James.
producers. Well, for both of our producers, because Flex is doing his. He's going to make his debut for, what are they called?
Orbit College
What?
FC. Flex is getting his first PSL cap.
So Flex, that's great news, and well done, James. And I hope that the Meet the Parents weekend goes really well. And then we'll be back on Monday at 6 a.m. Make sure you have an awesome weekend and keep warm. Ciao.
Bedre og bedre dag for dag. Bedre og bruk armene og bruk bena. Ikke gå rundt stolen. La 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 la. Ikke gå rundt, nei. Og bruk armene og bruk bena. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. Det går bedre og bedre dag for dag.
Football fans, welcome back. Yep, we can all be proper football fans again with all the major leagues about to kick off. Sandile is here to talk Man United and Chiefs redemption. Ben is here because this is really, really going to be Arsenal's year. And special guest Sapang Bawane is here to offer some actual substance insight-wise. As a senior reporter for Soccer Laduma, Sapang is the much-needed voice this week to truly put you in the know of what you need to know about the upcoming season. Really, if he wasn't here, these other two would just be making stupid bets on upcoming games and bragging about the latest team drip. It's episode 60 of the On The Bounce.